Thank you so much, Ngubane. I greet the Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, Honorable Chairperson in his absence, the Deputy Chief Whip, the Chief Whip and the Deputy Chief Whip. Good morning to the strategic leadership. Thank you so much. To Ubaba Uqiliza. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for attending this very important training session. Members of the legislature, the valued guests, colleagues, good morning to everyone. It is utmostly truly a pleasure to welcome all of you here today. As Umtimand has said, it's something that often gets overlooked in our busy schedule. So thank you for taking time to invest in ourselves, in our growth, for us to be able to serve our people so much better. This members' capacity building is not just another item in the calendar. It's a chance as us public representatives to pause, sharpen our skills, deepen our understanding, and connect with the practical tools that make us more efficient and impactful in our work. As you know, we've made some adjustments along the way, but I appreciate that we are all able to ensure that this day still goes ahead and the content that is meaningful, timely, and relevant to the work that we do and the responsibilities that we carry as honorable members. One of the key areas we'll be focusing on today is ICT support and cybersecurity. In this digital age, how we manage our information and how we protect it has been very, very important, and how we know that there's always cybersecurity threats. And many members have official email accounts that have not currently been active. I know it may seem like a small technical issue, but it's very serious, honorable members. Our emails are a gateway to some very important information, and if it does not work and if our passwords are outdated, we are vulnerable both as individuals and as an institution. So I want to encourage everyone to please take a few moments today to sit with the IT team, let them help you to reset your passwords and to get your emails fully up and running if they have not been already. It is a small action, but it has a big impact in the security, for communication, and for peace of mind in our institution. We're also very, very fortunate to have SARS here with us today, and we all know that the tax season is upon us, and it's easy to fall behind when we're focused on serving our constituencies. SARS will not only be doing a presentation, but also will be offering one-on-one support to assist all members with their personal submissions, and I hope that all members please take advantage of that. We will also be getting a presentation from Parmed and AlexForbes, who will share important information and insights around pension benefits, financial planning, and tools that will help us manage our financial situations and futures while we focus on the work of building a better province. In our country, many politicians, as you may know, face financial and life-changing difficulties after leaving office due to a combination of factors. And today is the day we all work towards minimizing the risk of dealing with such issues by fully utilizing these companies designed to inform and to equip us, thus comfort and ensuring stability in our office and during our tenure. Honorable members, this capacity building is not going to be once-off, as it hasn't been already. It's going to be an ongoing process, and it's something we all need to take seriously. And I'm honored and humbled that there's so many seats and honorable members in attendance here today. The stronger we are as individuals and the stronger we are as a collective, it will do better. That helps us serve the people that have put us and entrusted here us today. I also want to thank the Speaker and the Secretary, and the Speaker in her absence, the Secretary and the administration, and definitely the HR team, and all the partners who came together on board to make this day possible. Most of all, thank you to all the honorable members for showing up and leaning and showing their commitment to continuous learning. Let us make today possible, and let us make the most of today, and let us remember that we grow not just by leading, but by learning. So, ngiyabonga, honorable members, let us have a good learning day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker, for your highlighting and stressing the purpose of the day, as you have dealt with all elements that are going to be covered today, which are important. Thank you very much. Without wasting any more time, we are going to request AlexForbes to address honorable members with regard to the pension-related members. Thank you. Colleen?
I can start. Yeah. So good morning, honourable members. We just have a little technology challenge. We don't have the laptop with the presentation on. We're waiting for one of your IT support guys to come and... Oh, he's here. You're going to set up the presentation? Okay. So maybe just by way of introduction, who I am and why I'm here. My name is Eric Potgieter. I did do a presentation to the legislature last year, so some of you, I think there weren't very many members that time in attendance, some of you would have heard it last year. I don't normally do these, but my colleague who does the presentations has other commitments today. I'm the advisor, the consultant to the trustee board. The pension fund is managed by the trustee board. You're represented by Honourable Tembe, your Deputy Speaker. She's the trustee for the province, and then Honourable Ban Prakash is the her alternate trustee. So they represent you on the trustee board, and they should be able to give you information and feedback as you need it as the years progress during the term of office. So as I said, my role, Eric Potgieter, is as advisor and consultant to the trustee board. I'm joined here by Colleen Daniels from AlexForbes. AlexForbes are the administrators of the pension fund, so you would have dealings with them if you have questions specifically about your benefits, your contributions, and when you leave office, you want to take benefits, then you would be dealing with AlexForbes. So Colleen has worked on the fund as an AlexForbes representative for many years. The principal officer of the pension fund is Ms. Belinda Berger. You may also have dealings with her. She's got other commitments this week, so she's unable to attend. Otherwise, she would normally be here for this kind of presentation, as she was when we presented last year. So we are the main role players supporting the Board of Trustees. As soon as we get the presentation up, I will carry on. I'm not sure if there's any other introductory words that I should be giving at this point. So we've got an overview of how the fund works, with quite a lot of focus on the changes that came into effect in September last year. You would have heard about the 2 pots pensions reforms that government, National Treasury sponsored in the course of last year. I guess some of you may already have taken cash out of the pension fund as a result of those 2 pots changes. We'll go through that in a fair amount of detail, hopefully in a minute or 2. So you better just bear with me while we wait for the technology to assist us. Okay, yeah. Colleen suggested I talk a little bit more about the trustee board. So there are 14 member-elected trustees, and each of them has an alternate. There are 4 from National Assembly, plus 1 from National Council of Provinces. That makes 5. And then 1 from each of the 9 provinces. That takes it up to 14. And as I said, each of them has an alternate. The chairperson of the Board of Trustees, so you will see her name on newsletters and other communications from the fund, is Honourable Ramalabeng from National Assembly. The board took office in September last year. So I think when we addressed the House here last year, that was before the new trustees had taken office. But the board that is in place now will stay in place until the next election, when a new trustee board will be elected. That member induction is the one here. Okay. I see we're nearly here.
Okay.
Yeah, I also have those things on my computer, so I'm used to that for sign-in request already.
So when you go to Teams, you share the screen.
Okay.
Then you go to Window, you go to PowerPoint. Right.
Okay, right, so let's just go into the present mode, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So use just the keys.
yeah, but it's not,
It will show just now.
okay. So we're just waiting for it to come a bit larger on the screens. This thing. No? No?
You can say that.
Yeah.
Again.
It should be. It's not showing it.
Inside. Exit from the top.
Okay. It's not moving. It's not showing this view. It says you're sharing a window, but it's not showing the right window.
Okay. Let me bring another laptop.
Maybe just let's try. I can't. No, it's not showing the right window. So I can flip down the slides here, but it's. Oh, I forgot to say, Katerina, why do we have this thing? No, the technology is still a challenge here, honourable members. It's not moving, no. It's not showing the right window. I don't want to fiddle with things by myself. I'll wait for your IT guy to come and do it.
You say he's coming back.
He's going to do something from upstairs. Okay. That looks a bit better. Okay. I'll just see that we can move on. Yes. Right. Thank you for your patience, honourable members. So this is the presentation that I've been waiting to give you. So we are going to cover the benefits provided by the fund. I'm the consultant, Eric Potgieter, and Colleen over there is representing AlexForbes, as I said. So what we will cover is how the fund works, the concept of the fund credit, which is your savings balance in the fund, and then we'll talk in quite a bit of detail about the two pots system and how that works. We'll talk about what your entitlements are when you leave office. We'll talk about a thing called the retirement benefit and a thing called the resignation benefit. They have different tax consequences, so it's important that you understand the difference between them and when they apply. And then if you have the misfortune to pass away while you're in office, what the death and service benefits are, other insured benefits that the fund provides or that are provided via the fund for members. A little bit about the investments. So pension fund like ours, you've got to understand as a tax-privileged savings arrangement. So it's very important when you think about your savings inside the fund to understand how the money is invested and how we hope the money is going to grow for your benefit. And then finally, just want to make some comments about the website. There is a website with a lot of information. We keep that as up to date as we can. It's important for you to know the website address and for you to make use of the website, and we'll explain briefly what is available through the website. So how the fund operates. I've got some irritating animations on these slides. So up until the end of August last year was really a very simple arrangement, a very simple tax-privileged savings arrangement. So your savings, the jargon that we use in the pensions industry is your fund credit. So the amount that stands to your credit inside the pension fund is your fund credit. So contributions come in to your savings accounts every month. Your contributions, we'll talk more about the contributions in a few minutes, 7.5% of your pensionable salary, the employer 17% of your pensionable salary, and these amounts all form part of your package. So there's nothing on top of the package, this is all part of your package. The contributions come into your account every month. They're invested. If you bring money from a previous fund, so let's say you were at some stage a councillor, municipal councillor, you had a benefit in the municipal councillor's pension fund. When you move from local government into provincial government, you're entitled to transfer your benefit. If you bring a transfer value in, that also gets invested as part of your fund credit, and the investments hopefully generate nice growth. So the investment performance is what drives the growth of the fund credit balance. And then when you leave office, you take a benefit, you get paid out by the fund. So that is how things worked, very simple terms, up until the end of August last year, at which point it got a lot more complicated. So what happened on the 1st of September? So you had a fund credit balance on the 31st of August, and that fund credit balance becomes the so-called vested pot. So there's not two pots in the system. As you hear in a moment, there are three pots. The first of the three pots is the vested pot. So whatever you had in the fund on the 31st of August goes into the vested pot, except for what is called the seed money or the seed capital, and that is calculated as the lower of 30,000 Rand or 10% of whatever you had on the 31st of August. So if your balance in the fund, your fund credit on the 31st of August was 2 million Rand, 10% of 2 million Rand is 200,000, so that doesn't apply. The seed capital is 30,000 in that case. If your fund credit on the 31st of August was 200,000 Rand, 10% of 200,000 is 20,000. 20,000 is less than 30,000, so then in that case, the seed capital is 20,000. So the seed money comes out of your fund credit, and we'll show you in a moment where that goes to. It doesn't get lost, it goes somewhere else. It's the less of 30,000 Rand or 10% of whatever you had on the 31st of August. As I said though, except for the seed capital, what was in your fund credit on that date becomes the vested pot. So, as I said, from September onwards, there are now three pots in the system, provided that you were a member on the 31st of August. So if you only became a member for the very first time after the 1st of September, You're not going to have a vested pot because your balance on the 31st of August was 0. You were not in the fund on the 31st of August. So if you're a new member, and there may be some who only joined for the first time after the 31st of August, after the 1st of September, you would only have 2 pots. You will not have a vested pot, but most of you will have 3 pots. So the 3 pots are vested pot we've talked about. So that's the money that you had on the 31st of August minus the seed capital. And that continues to grow with investment growth, but no new contributions go into that vested pot. Secondly, savings pot. So the seed capital went into the savings pot, and then from September onwards, 1/3 of all of the new contributions for retirement savings goes into the savings pot. And you're allowed to take cash out of that savings pot. We'll talk about the rules applying to those cash withdrawals, but you're allowed to take cash out of that savings pot as things go. The other 2/3 of the contributions from September onwards, this is the contributions that go towards your retirement, the other 2/3 go into the retirement pot. So that's a third of the 3 pots. You're not allowed to touch that money until you take a retirement benefit. All 3 of those pots are invested in our fund. All 3 of those pots are invested in the same way. And so all 3 of those pots grow with the investment growth that the trustees achieve on the investments of the fund from month to month. I'll talk more about the investments later. So, as I said, what you had on the 31st of August, that is your vested pot, except for that seed capital that is moved across into the savings pot. From September onwards, savings pot is 1/3 of new contributions for retirement, plus the seed capital, and the other 2/3 of new contributions from September onwards go into the retirement pot, and that money is locked away until you take a retirement benefit. So this is again just summarizing exactly what I said now. 1/3 of the contributions going to the savings pot, and that is the contributions specifically for pension savings. You can take cash out of the savings pot. You can make 1 cash withdrawal in every tax year. There are some, and we'll talk about this again in a moment, there are terms and conditions around those withdrawals, but understand that those cash withdrawals are taxed. So if you ask for 50,000 Rand to come out of your savings pot, you're not going to get 50,000 Rand. SARS is going to get part of the 50,000 Rand. It's going to be taxed at your marginal tax rate. The other 2/3, as I said, goes into the retirement pot. It grows with investment growth, but you cannot access that money until you take a retirement benefit. That means you can't take it in cash, and you can't take it as part of a resignation benefit, and I'll explain the difference between those again in a few minutes. If you want to take cash out of the savings pot, so from September onwards, these cash withdrawals have been allowed. You can't take less than 2,000 Rand. Most of you would have far more than 2,000 Rand in your savings pot, so you would be able to take a withdrawal. You can only take 1 cash withdrawal in a tax year. That means obviously a tax year to the end of February, as long as it's not less than 2,000 Rand while you're a member of the fund. As I said, SARS is going to take tax off the amount that you asked to withdraw at the highest tax rate that applies to you, which is your marginal tax rate. So part of the money will go to SARS, part of it will come to you. And there is an administration fee that the fund charges for processing these withdrawals. It's 350 Rand, Colleen, 350 Rand, including VAT. So 350 Rand is the total fee. So I know some members of the fund have made cash withdrawals. Some people did it in the last tax year. Some people have done it more recently in the current tax year. There's probably a few people who have made 2 withdrawals already. Cash withdrawals are supposed to be for financial emergencies. So by law, you do have the right to take cash subject to these terms and conditions, 1 per tax year, not less than 2,000 Rand, etc. You're not encouraged to do so. If you empty out your savings pot every tax year, which you are legally entitled to do, but if you do that, you're going to have less money when you eventually come to retirement. So you're not encouraged to do this, but you are allowed to do this. On the fund's website, on the home page, there's a link to member guides. there's a savings benefit withdrawal guide, like a pamphlet, if you like, that you can access on the website, which gives you all of this information and more, tells you about the process for applying to make a savings withdrawal. So we're not going to talk about the process in detail right now. If you want to make the savings withdrawal, you want to know the process, go to the website, into the member guides section. So again, this is a summary of the whole process. What you had on the 31st of August goes into the vested pot, minus the seed money, that's the lesser of 30,000 Rand and 10% of the balance, which goes into the savings pot. From then onwards, 1/3 of the contributions goes to the savings pot, 2/3 of the contributions go to the retirement pot. You can take cash out of the savings pot if you want to, subject to those various rules and terms and conditions, but the money that is in the retirement pot is going to be stuck there until you take a retirement benefit, at which time that money must be used to provide you with a pension. You will be receiving benefit statements shortly. Colleen, they haven't gone out yet? Okay, so I think by the end of June, end of the month, you should be receiving a benefit statement. I do not believe you'll be able to see this build-up on your screens, so I'm not going to go through it. The build-up is a little bit confusing this year. We've given detailed notes that you will receive with the benefit statement to try and explain how your savings balance built up over the year. Obviously, if you came into the legislature for the first time at the election last year, you will start with a zero balance. If you are a returning member, you would have a balance on the 1st of April 2024, and that balance then grows to closing balance at the 31st of March 2025, and the statement will show the split between the three pots. So there's a lot of detail, much more detail than you would have had in the past, which arises because of the new 2 or 3 pots system, which came into effect during the year. As I said, the build-up on the statements is fairly complicated and fairly confusing. We've tried our best to explain it in the notes that will come with the statement. So because it's too small to read, I don't think I'm going to spend time on this now, but just be aware that you're going to be getting your benefit statements shortly. Contributions to the fund. So the contributions, both the contributions that are labeled as member contributions and the contributions that are labeled as employer contributions, are part of your remuneration package. So there's nothing over and above the package. All of this is part of your package. Contributions are calculated based on your pensionable salary. Your pensionable salary is 60% of the package. So it's not the whole package, it's 60% of the package. That 60% figure comes from the Remuneration Commission. They recommend to the President how the packages should be structured. The President then in the past has accepted their recommendations, and that's where it comes from. So it's not a decision by the legislature, it's not a decision by the pension fund. It starts with the Remuneration Commission and then comes via the Presidency. The total contribution every month is 30% of the pensionable salary. So 30% of 60% means it's 18% of your package, but 30% pensionable, which is 60% of package. That 30% is split. 7.5% out of the 30 is the member contribution. 22.5%, that's the balance of the 30, is the employer contribution. So this is how these things are labeled. It's not very meaningful to call them those different terms, but that is how they're labeled. In turn, the 22.5% is split. 17% goes to retirement savings. 0.7% is allocated as a budget for fund expenses. And then the rest, which is 4.8%, is budget for the insurance premiums for the insured benefits provided to members via the fund. So what goes to retirement savings every month is 7.5% of your pensionable salary as member contributions, plus 17% of your pensionable salary as employer contributions for savings. That makes 24.5% of your monthly pensionable salary going into retirement savings. As from September onwards,